our mistakes. Good teams like Seattle will punish you when you kind of give them goals. The response in the second half was a good one, but we do not want to make a habit of having to come from behind. We recognize at home it's rare that we get beat twice like we did, and I expect the group to have a strong response against DC United, a team that has kind of adapted the new style of their coach Troy, who's done a really good job organizing them. They've taken a lot of Red Bull influence and direct play and fight for second balls and have played some good soccer as well. So it'll be a tough test. Kind of done with the Western Conference now this year, and focus is to try to get as many points against the Eastern Conference opponents as possible. Always difficult on the road, but our group's had a really good mentality on the road this year. And we're going to need a complete 90 minutes, not 45, not 60, not 30, a complete 90 minutes to get a result.
Thanks, Jim. We can start with questions in the room. Jonathan?
Thanks, Nico. Jim, why don't you tell us about Andre Blake? And why don't you tell us about Andrew Rick too? What's going on?
Yeah, obviously the two are tied together. Andre still has pain in the knee. My hope in talking with Andre, and obviously have a good open, clear dialogue, and have been together for a lot of years and respect each other a ton. He's not quite ready yet, so we'll be smart with him. Doesn't make sense to risk possible injuring it worse. With that, Rick will join the group again. Nothing's official, and there's still paperwork going on in terms of what that means. But as you guys said before, Andrew Rick's going to be a Union first team player sooner rather than later. Call ups aside and all the different rules. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Andre is going to be out.
Team has the room to put Andrew on the first team this year. We learned that yesterday when all this stuff came to the league. One of the things we also learned is about Andre's contract status, and it seems like he and a lot of other big guys are in their last guaranteed years right now. How do you, as the manager, handle that in the locker room?
Yeah, look, there's always decisions that need to be made with guys like Andre. I think they're clear decisions. I think everybody involved wants Andre to be part of the Philadelphia Union. That certainly the head coach wants that as well. Like I talked about, our relationship is great. It's open. It's honest. And he's been the best goalkeeper in this league for quite some time. And it's a big reason why we've had success over the last several years. If you reflect back to when Andre was drafted till now, the way he's grown on the field, off the field, it's incredible. So again, I'm always confident that things will sort themselves out in a positive way. But yeah, those things are ongoing now, and that's between them and a little bit behind the scenes. So I won't comment on that, and we're not going to do contract negotiations via press conference. But I think everybody knows internally at the Philadelphia Union, the fans know just what he's meant to the club and how important he is, and he has a lot of years left.
In terms of his health, I think this is at least 3 separate injuries that he's had already this year. Is there any concern with that? And obviously the workload he has internationally, how many games he played last year, how much of that is a concern? Yeah,
look, injuries are a part of the game. Andre knows his body best. And yeah, there's been little injuries, and he's tried to play through them, and in some instances maybe made them worse because he's trying to do what's right and best for the team and helping us trying to win. So it's a little just strange timing, and with the discussions that Jonathan brought up as well, it becomes a little bit the two get pointed together, so it's a little bit timing wise unfortunate, unfair. But Andre's a guy that his body, he still has a ton of years left, and goalkeepers can play at a higher level for a lot longer than field players. I think history and time has proven that all over the world. So he's a guy who takes care of his body, ultimate professional, ultimate pro on and off the field, great dad, great person, and on and on. I think you guys know what I think of Andre. So I think things will get sorted out eventually. And yeah, we'll have him, back in goal as soon as possible, and hopefully back from the injuries.
We've touched on this a little bit in the past, but you have pretty much the same roster as last year and same roster as the year before. Is there ever a concern with that group getting stale? And when you don't have new bodies or new kind of ideas to inject from a personnel perspective, what's kind of your role as a coach in trying to create that nuance that keeps things fresh?
Yeah, look, we have new bodies and new faces. I think we have players that have improved internally as well. But yeah, the reality is, the core group of guys play the majority of the minutes, and they deserve the majority of the minutes. So, like I've talked about before, they're earned on the training field. You've seen guys improve like Harriel, like McGlynn, like Sullivan. So we can improve internally. Those are names that have been here. So certainly we can take another step. And once our entire group, again, you talk about consistency and us being a strong team over the years and then playing so many minutes together, it's really valuable. And this year, we still sit at 3, 2, and 4, could have some more points, maybe could even have less points, whatever you want to say. We haven't had that health and continuity, in particular along the back line and in goal. So I think once we get that, we know what we're capable of. I think you'll have players on the roster that will improve and get better and hopefully contribute more. There's always opportunities to add via transfer window or via trade or whatever it might be. But we still have a really strong group. We don't get too high when we're doing well, and we don't want to get too low when we have a couple losses. But we learn the most about your group in the hard times. I've said that to you guys before. And a hard time can be, you have 2 tough losses against Salt Lake, where we were actually performed okay, and then Seattle, a horrible first half and a good second half. So we put ourselves in this position now. It is 2 games that we weren't happy with, but I have the ultimate confidence in this group and that consistency and continuity that and you brought up, is what also gets us through the harder moments.
To kind of build on that, they have done that good job of responding to adversity.
Yeah.
Is there, I take it as a coach, you would want to not have the adversity to see that response? And I wonder what your kind of role is then, you think, with this group in particular, of trying to, not have them need to be down 3 goals before there's a response, like on a night like Tuesday. How does that kind of play into how you approach this group?
Yeah, look, that's a good comment. And look, I'd say I lean more towards, staying out of the way. We've been consistent for a long time because we have really good players and really talented guys. Obviously, when you lose 2 in a row, which doesn't happen often for us, it's what you're ultimately, as a head coach, you guard against, right? A letdown. When you lose one, how do you respond? And I think consistently now for 5, 6 years, we've been really, really good about that. That needs to continue. You're always trying to keep things fresh, even with, maybe changing a training exercise or maybe tweaking the routine, just so guys don't get, too comfortable and complacent. But again, when all of our guys are healthy and in good form, we have a team that can beat anybody. The message from the coach, though, is always, we can also see the other side. If we're not on our game, all 11 guys, we can lose to anybody as well in this league. That's the way the beauty of MLS and the way that our league's set up. So, you can go through the Eastern Conference, and we start that Eastern Conference play now. You could make an argument, and you guys could write an article. Obviously, Miami, Columbus have and Cincinnati maybe, are towards the top, but everybody's beatable. Even those 3 teams are very beatable. But you could make an argument for every team from 3 to 15 in our conference, and you wouldn't be crazy right now. So I think I said that to start the year, how hard this conference is going to be. We start that play now. And I love my group. I love these players. They give me everything, and they're going to make the fans proud. I promise that.
To your point about everybody not quite playing well, the defense is not going to where anybody
Uh-huh.
wants to be. That's
For sure.
It certainly help. It would certainly help Oliver if some of that would get a little bit cleaned up. What's your assessment of that unit at the moment, and where does Leon Flock come in?
Yeah, defending always starts with the team, and it starts with Julian setting the tone as a striker. So when we talk about defense, it is everyone. There is no denying, though, the ball's hit the back of the net far too many times, and in far too many strange instances, from the 50-yard own goal down in Saprissa to as recently as the last goal or the first goal for Seattle. These aren't characteristic goals of any team, let alone us, who's usually pretty sound and not making errors and mistakes. So I'm confident that regress to the mean, and we'll get those mistakes eliminated and kind of really fluky plays. Penalty kicks can happen, but our box defending needs to be more strong and better. The difference between making a hard tackle and staying on your feet in certain instances and making it predictable for Oliver is also something that we need to do a better job of. So, we'll improve on that defensive side. Certainly, we're not happy with the amount of times we're taking the ball out of our own net. Conversely, we have scored and created and played some really good soccer for stretches. But you can't just do one and not the other. We're not going to outscore teams. I don't want to win games 6-5, as entertaining as that is for the fans. I just know that's not sustainable in our league with what we're about and going end to end with some of these teams with some of the attacking pieces they have. It becomes very challenging. So shore up the defensive side, continue to improve on the attacking and keep scoring goals. But yeah, certainly clean sheets is something that we're looking for in the next coming games.
We are ready.
Leon's ready to go. Yes, 100%.
All right, we can switch over to Zoom. Joe Tanzi.
Hey Jim, have you had any conversations with Jose Martinez about the post that went out at halftime the game, and it seems like there's some frustration there?
Yeah, he's not happy with a lot of things, and guys, we're around each other in here, and it seems like 24/7. So like the idea that I don't talk to Andre or I don't know what Jose means by what he wrote. I have a pretty good idea of things and have my finger on the pulse with all these guys. That's why it's like a family. We all love each other, but we also have passion about our sport and have disagreements just like any work environment. That's natural and normal. I don't want guys that are happy when they get subbed out at halftime, but big picture wise, when you look at it and you go, he's on yellow cards, the likelihood of us, coming back, we're always going to push to come back. But at the same time, he's a defensive-minded guy. We have to score 4 goals, so we make a change. And also in the back of my mind, I go, yeah, I want him available for DC. So again, these things all weigh into it. There's a lot of moving parts, but is it the smartest thing to do? I don't think it. I think things should stay always in-house and in the locker room, but it happens. And these are human beings, and they have emotions, and sometimes it's okay to express those emotions.
And then to the DC game, you faced Troy as interim coach of the Red Bulls last year. Is there anything you can take from that matchup into what he's applied at DC United so far?
Yeah, great young coach. A guy that I've talked to a bunch over Zoom and on the phone in the past through the years. Has a lot of really good ideas about how the game should be played. Is obviously very much in the Red Bull mode in terms of the sprinting, the intensity, the counter pressing, creating chances off that, playing direct and fighting for second balls. Doing a really good job with a new project in DC. It was unfortunate to not get the Red Bull opportunity. I thought he did a great job there. I think I voiced that, publicly when they were making their decision. But in this game, things have a way of working out. He's got a new opportunity, and he's got a DC team that's very hard to play against, and we expect a real fight. So a lot of familiarity, similar in their transitions to us, and they want to win those offensively and defensively. So it'll be a really hard fought game for sure.
And final question will go to Jillian.
Hi, Jim. On Pirani with DC, last year, Nate did a great job on him. How do you plan or instruct Nate to cover him and contain him?
Yeah, he's tricky because he doesn't just stay in one spot. He comes off of the back line. He'll come centrally, depending, Troy has played, a ton of different formations, and they've had a lot of flexibility with their front attacking players. So, with a guy like Benteke up there too, running off of him, he can flick balls, he can receive balls with his chest and lay them back and spin. So it's not just, Nathan in a man-to-man matchup. You really have to do a good job with whoever comes for the ball in their attackers. The first person has to be tight. That might be for an aerial ball. You might not win it, but you really have to be alert for the second ball because they're very well trained on running in behind off of flicks and different things like that. So team effort to have us challenge the first one, but then also be tucking in and staying compact and close to each other to fight for second ball. So tough task. Nathan's for my money, been an incredible defender this year. Great, adding a lot to our attacks as well, getting more and more comfortable. And that's probably the reason he should be getting a good call up to the Olympics here soon. So between him, the way McGlynn's playing as well, and Quinn Sullivan, those guys should all be part of the Olympics moving forward. So I'll keep saying that. Maybe it'll help.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, guys.